After knowing of a legend passed down for generations in Africa of gold hidden in the jungles of Salong, Simon, Maverick, and Donald traveled to Mbandaka, Congo in hopes of finding the treasure. They arranged food, water, and supplies, hired a tour guide from a village, a young man named Zane, and set off for their journey. You think we'll be able to find the gold? People have been searching for centuries, but no one has found it yet. It's a matter of luck. We'll scavenge this whole forest if need be. We have our tents, it won't be a problem. The tents will come in handy, but there is a cabin in the direction you want to go. It was built centuries ago, but it's abandoned now. The men reached the wooden cabin sometime in the evening. However, it was quite old, so the men preferred to put up their tents and after dinner called it a day. Early the next morning, they packed up and set out again. However, much of the day went by and the men didn't find anything. The engine is getting too hot. We can't drive like this. We'll need water. Checking the map, Zane figured their location. If we walk 20 minutes east, we'll reach a river. So the men set out, and within a while, they were surprised to hear the sound of rushing water. Well done! It's like you have this jungle memorized. How do you know this place so well? I used to come here with my father when I was younger. He used to harvest fruits and rare mushrooms, and sometimes he also worked as a guide. The first day, the men conveniently traveled the southern regions on the map. The following day, they decided to head eastwards. Driving through the jungles, the men had stopped for a break. When Simon spotted a deer, I think we're gonna enjoy a nice barbecue tonight. Stop, this wasn't the deal. You guys came here in search for gold. Animal poaching and hunting is illegal in this area. Then I guess you won't be having deer tonight? Don't interfere in our business. Despite Zane's warning, the men hunted and brought the animal back to the cabin. It was late that night. They started a fire and prepared the deer. Zane, however, had a few morsels of rice and kept to himself. When 2 days went by, the men started to become impatient. The next morning, they decided to search the northeast. No one goes that deep into the forest. My father had only gone twice. I'm not familiar with the region and our map doesn't have the location either. Then perhaps the gold has been there all along. We'll figure it out when we reach there. Reluctantly, Zane guided the men towards the northeast. But even then, much of the day went by to no progress, and by the time they decided to return, it had also gotten quite late. Let's stop here. I have to go. Maverick walked out into the jungles to relieve himself, when he suddenly heard a soft rustle behind him. He turned to see a leopard charging his way and immediately loaded his rifle. The animal fell lifeless to the ground. But to his surprise, Maverick spotted a young woman run to the animal. Hearing the shot, Zane, Simon, and Donald hurried to see the matter. What happened? One shot, two birds. Look over there. What have you done? Zane spotted a young woman holding the lifeless animal in her arms. Where did she come from? Do tribal people live in these areas? I've never heard of such. The three men chuckled as they walked up to the young woman. What are you doing out here? She turned around aggressively, hitting them. Maverick almost fell back, chuckling. Wow, she's strong. The young woman then began to shout strange noises. Oh, so she doesn't know how to talk. Before she could do anything more, Simon gave her a heavy hit and she fell unconscious to the ground. The men then brought her and the leopard back to the jeep, while Zane sat there helplessly watching. He stared at the young woman. It seemed she had grown up in these jungles. She didn't know how to speak. She wore clothes of leaves. Do you know how to skin? No, you need people for that, but this is absolutely illegal. Then I guess one will have to skin ourselves, and the other will enjoy. I was thinking we can give her to a museum. We'll make a lot of money. Have you seen her figure? If you want to make money, we should sell her. Or we can make our own videos. When the men reached back to the cabin, they locked the girl inside and went into their tents for the night. Make sure she doesn't get out of here, and if you try anything smart, it won't be good for you. Zane lit a lantern and sat outside the room. There was a small space on the door from where he could see her. She sat quietly to the corner of the room. Psst, psst. The young woman noticed him, but turned around angrily. You're probably hungry. Zane brought some rice for her and passed it through the space. Sijana. The young woman looked at him for a while. Don't be scared. I am a friend. I'm not like them. She slowly crawled towards the food and pulled the plate closer to her and started sniffing it. Food, eat. It wasn't until Zane had gone away that he noticed she started to eat. But after a while, he felt a tap on his shoulder and turned to see her holding the bowl. More? So Zane brought her more and she ended up eating quite a lot. As the night grew darker, Zane fell asleep while the young woman was still wide awake. When he woke up the next morning, she found her sleeping. So she's nocturnal. He didn't bother her. However, Simon, Maverick, and Donald got up and called him out. Where's all the food? The girl was hungry. How much did you give her? Half the food is gone. Good, now we have to hunt for food. I was getting fed up with this rice anyway. Later that morning, the men started packing some supplies for their journey. You don't have to come with us. We have the area marked down. Stay here with the girl. We'll try to come back before midnight. The whole day went by in which Zane sat by the cabin wondering if there was anything he could do to get out of here. But there was no way. He couldn't return by himself. Around sunset, when the young woman woke up, Zane brought her food again. But this time, when he slid the bowl in, she didn't come to it. Rather, she began smelling her hair and body. I think you want to take a shower. Zane slowly unlocked the door. I'll take you to the river, but if you run away, those people aren't going to spare me. The young woman looked at Zane as he tried to communicate with her. Are you going to listen to me? Seeing Zane nodding his head, the young woman nodded her head. So he took her down the forest to the riverside. As soon as she started to hear the sound of the water, she ran towards the edge of the cliff. What are you doing? Zane ran after her when she suddenly dived into the water. Zane waited as she swam in the water in peace, but sometime later, he heard the sound of the jeep in the distance. Sijana, let's go, they're here. But when she heard the jeep, frightened, she swam back to the bank and ran off into the jungle. Great, now I'm dead. What are you doing here? We told you to stay at the cabin. Where's the girl? Donald ran back to the cabin as Zane's heart raced, but he tried to stay calm. You guys came back early. Did you find the gold? Simon and Maverick walked to the cabin as Zane followed after them anxiously. But Donald walked out saying, She's here. Zane breathed out in relief, but it was soon that he saw the men had brought back yet another animal. After they had their food, they went into their tents again, while Zane sat by the door of the young woman. How did you get in here? The young woman got up and went to the window, took off the panel, and put it back again. You broke the window with your bare hands? Later that night, Zane quietly brought out the last of the food for her. You haven't eaten all day, this is all that is left." The young woman ate the food, but halfway through, she passed the bowl out again and ushered Zane to eat the rest. "If I had the option, I would set you free and I would leave myself. These people aren't good people. They told me they came here to search for gold, but they're hunting down these animals. There's a legend that there's gold hidden in this jungle. My father spent his entire life searching for it, but he could never find it. Eventually, he fell ill and passed away. I was left with my mother and a sister. I have a family to feed. In our village, there aren't any jobs. I don't have a choice but to do this. And these people offered me good money, but I guess greed never does anyone good." "It's been a week and we've found nothing. We can't spend more time here. If we want to reach town while there's daylight, we have to set off by sunrise. But what about Zane? If we take him back, he'll be a pain for us. He might blackmail us or cause us trouble. So what do? Give him more money? No. Who said we have to bring him back?" In the last hours before dawn, the three men came out of their tents and called Zane. "Zane, come here. We need to talk." When Zane walked out to them, the men suddenly surrounded him, and Simon pulled out his gun. "I did everything you told me. Why are you doing this?" "We can't risk keeping you alive. Please, I have a family. I won't say anything." As Simon put his finger to the trigger, suddenly there was a shrill cry in the air. The young woman began making a strange noise that echoed through the forest. Simon, Maverick, Donald, and Zane stood still, feeling the ground beneath them start to shake. In just minutes, hundreds of animals, big and small, came running through the trees. Elephants, rhinoceros, tigers, cheetahs, monkeys, birds, all charging at them. "Why are all these animals coming at us? We gotta get out of here." Ambushed by the animals, the men tried to flee. But when Maverick saw an elephant storming at them, he loaded his rifle and fired. As the injured elephant collapsed to the ground, the entire jungle fell silent. All the animals halted. Even the wind stopped. The leaves on the trees stood still. The men shivered in fright as the animals all stepped aside, giving way to a lion. The men broke out into a cold sweat as the lion walked up to them, face to face. With the sound of its mighty roar echoing across miles and miles of the jungle, Simon, Maverick, and Donald dispersed into the air. "17 years ago, scientists Emma and Richard Jameson and their daughter had come to Congo on a research project. They were camping in these jungles while they worked on their project. However, when a heavy storm hit the area, their transport, shelter, and means of communication had been damaged. Devastated, the parents took their child and began hiking through the jungles in hope for rescue. However, the journey had exhausted them and they found themselves on the verge of death. When Richard passed away before her eyes, Emma lay on the ground, soothing her child, praying to the heavens for her safety. Listening to her prayers, the Lord bestowed his favor on the child and sent the spirit of the jungle. Sikia uwaniji wa imsutuhu kuanzia sasa sichana huo mdogo atakuwa mfalme wa familia yetu. It was from that day that all the animals of the jungle imprinted on the child, and she had grown up in their care. The monkeys taught her what to eat and what not to eat. The cheetahs taught her how to walk and run. The anacondas taught her how to swing. The crocodiles taught her how to swim. The antelopes brought her herbs when she fell sick. And the elephants played with her as her friends. And in no time, this child had grown to become this beautiful woman whom they saw as another one of them. As the men dispersed into the air, Zane rushed to the cabin and let the young woman out. As she stepped out, all the animals crowded around her, and accompanied by the lion, they all led their way into the jungles. Zane sighed as he sat in the cabin. What had just happened? What was he going to do? The jeep was broken. He was stranded out here. He sat there all alone, when he suddenly saw a bright light outside. He hurried out to see. It was the young woman again, behind her, the lion, and all the animals in the jungle following after them. In her hands, she carried a large chunk of gold. Zane watched in amazement and fear, staring at the lion stop in front of him. This gold is yours, and she is also yours, but you must take care of her like we took care of her. As the sun rose bright in the skies, the lion dispersed into the winds. The animals rushed off to their homes, and the young woman handed Zane the gold. I am friend, I'm not like them. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.